What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing. I just finished up watching Fiodor Czerkaszyn versus Nathaniel Gallimore, and this was a 10-rounder in the middleweight division, and this fight was Saturday, November 5th, from the Armory in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and this fight was broadcasted on Showtime, and in this fight, Fiodor Czerkaszyn was able to get a unanimous decision victory over Nathaniel Gallimore. So in this fight, Czerkaszyn won this fight dominantly, clearly. He won it wide. I scored it 100-90. I did agree with one judge who also scored it 100-90. The other judge had it 99-91, and the last judge had it a very close 97-93, which is obviously ridiculous in my opinion because I think that Czerkaszyn won this fight dominantly. But I could definitely see how one round could go to Gallimore. So really throughout this entire fight, I mean, the only hard thing to talk about in this fight is just pronouncing Czerkaszyn's full name. I was having a little bit of trouble with that looking on, but I mean, besides his name being hard to pronounce, I mean, he has excellent fighting ability. He fights very well. He fought much better than I thought that he would, and he looked really phenomenal in my opinion. I don't think he's necessarily going to be a top 3, top 2, whatever, undisputed champion, but I think he's a real solid fighter that could give some of these top guys a very tough test. So really every single round, Czerkaszyn was fighting with angles. He was landing the bigger and better shots than Gallimore, and this is from my perspective of the fight. I thought he was just landing the bigger, better shots than Gallimore. Gallimore showed he had a great chin, but he just wasn't doing enough, and Gallimore, at the times he was throwing and being active, he was missing a lot, and he was being very sloppy. So Czerkaszyn was just dominating with his fast hands, pretty solid timing, and accuracy. So some of the key rounds in this fight, I mean, I thought every single round was very similar regarding Czerkaszyn just dominating. But some of the key rounds for Czerkaszyn in this fight were round 4, 5, 8, and 9. We're in round 4. It was a dominant round for Czerkaszyn with some big combinations. In round 5, Czerkaszyn was backing up Gallimore. He was hammering him with shots on the ropes, and really he won those rounds dominantly. In round 8, there were some big right hands early from Czerkaszyn that was sort of backing up Gallimore. It looked like Gallimore was pretty hurt with some of those shots. Then in round number 9, there were some massive rights and uppercuts while Gallimore was trying to come in. He was getting countered with big rights and uppercuts. He was eating them, but those were some big shots from Czerkaszyn. But really the only close round in this fight that I had was round number 7, where Gallimore had some nice overhand rights early, but primarily throughout the entire round, Czerkaszyn, I thought, just had the more effective work. So yeah, overall, if you were watching this fight, comment down below who you think comment down below your scorecard for this fight. So yeah, I mean, I would imagine it's pretty wide for Czerkaszyn, and this goes into the question: what is next for Fiodor Czerkaszyn? So he is now 21-0. He got a very solid win here, and being that he's fighting at 160, he just fought a guy who just moved up from 154. I wouldn't mind seeing Czerkaszyn face former champions Jarrett Hurd, Julian Williams, maybe even he might even be able to fight Juan Macias Montiel, maybe Vladimir Hernandez. I mean, any of those names I think could be definite possible opponents for Czerkaszyn, and I actually think that he'd have a great chance of beating all of those guys. I think Czerkaszyn's a very, very solid fighter based off of this very good performance. But as for Nathaniel Gallimore, I think it would be best for him to move back down to 154. I mean, I believe his record in his last 6 fights is like 1-5 or 2-4 or something like that. I'm pretty sure it's 2-4, but I mean, really, he's had a tough time in his past couple of fights. He's obviously known for fighting real good competition, but this was a very tough loss for him, considering that Czerkaszyn was relatively unknown going into it. So I think that Gallimore is still going to fight some of these very tough guys. He might get thrown in there with another prospect, could win, could lose. I mean, who knows? But he's still just a guy that's known for getting thrown in there with some of these top guys. He might perform well, or he might perform bad. So overall, Fiodor Czerkaszyn gets a breakthrough and dominant, wide, very good performance over Nathaniel Gallimore, who he obviously beat by a wide unanimous decision. And yeah, that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.